Hello and welcome to class. So, Divine Mamas, let's come find a comfortable seated position. When you come join class, if you have the opportunity to join in person, then I would have a moment to communicate with you and hear how far along you are, and if you have any aches and pains that you would like to address, so that I can channel the class specifically to you. But I'm also very intuitive, so I will listen to my instincts and see what comes through, and holding you in mind. And I trust that this class will serve you even in a recording. All right. Come take a comfortable seated position. Now that sometimes means sitting upright, sitting a little more elevated. And it can indeed vary from week to week as baby grows, as your body shifts and adjusts to the weight. Now in prenatal, I highly recommend that you have a bolster. This is going to be great postpartum as well. It's worth the investment. And 2 blocks, 2 yoga blocks, a bolster, and the rest you can have in house. The rest will be blankets and pillows and general stuff you have around the house. You can always get more props, but not everyone has the space to house more props. And we generally have enough around the house to improvise with. So I mentioned the bolster to start with, because today may be a day that a blanket just isn't enough. Maybe your lower back is bothering you, and maybe you want to use a bolster to give you more comfort. The blocks can be comfortable now as well. We'll use them in various ways, and this is another way we can use the blocks. Try it. If you have blocks at home, just experiment. Just the act of placing the blocks under the knees is another layer of comfort. And this is what we want to cultivate. No matter how amazing your family and your partners are, knowing for ourselves what feels good in our bodies is the greatest gift we can give to ourselves. So this is why I invite you to practice using these props in various ways. Now, if you don't feel much, flip those blocks over once more. If you've got tighter hips, take the corner of this block and let it sit under the back of the knees. And experiment with each of these 3 positionings of the blocks to see, just pausing for a couple of breaths to notice what feels good. No, this isn't it. Oh, that feels really good. And it's not the mind. You'll feel it in your physical body. And that's what I want you to strengthen, that relationship. Build upon that communication with your body as to what feels good to you. Because the body doesn't lie. The mind can override, because the ego can be in play, like, that's for people less flexible than me, or that's for people less fit than me. And it's like, no, all of that goes out the window when we're pregnant, because we're housing life. We want to find ways that we feel most supported mentally, physically, and emotionally. And that, as you have experienced, changes from day to day. All right. As I was talking, I hope you found your most comfortable position. Now we'll draw our senses inwards. Take your hands onto your belly, connect with your divine baby. And come to close the eyes. Draw your senses inwards. Allow the tip of the tongue to rest behind the two front teeth. And softly draw your inner gaze inwards and upwards to your brow point. And allow your shoulders to softly release away from the ears. And we come to connect on the inner landscape. As we draw our senses inwards, we feel the hands resting onto the belly. And we make that connection with babes. We find our steady cleansing inhale. And our smooth, steady cleansing exhalation. And notice as you drop into your breath, as you shift your weight into the buttock bones and slightly shift your weight back to connect with the back body. This will bring a greater sense of grounding into the physical body, and it will allow you to drop and connect more deeply with your physical body. Everything is growing predominantly on the front. So with babes' weight, there may be a natural pivot in the pelvis to bring the pelvis forwards, which contributes to our lower back tension. So allow the buttock bones to descend into the bolster. Feel that broadening into the back of the ribs. Be aware as your shoulder blades frame the back of your body. And all of this will help bring you into that present moment awareness. And in doing so, we reclaim our energy and we bring it inwards and we connect with our baby. Allow the corners of your eyes to smile. Two more cleansing breaths in. And two more steady cleansing breaths out. And you may be having that internal dialogue with your beloved baby. It may be the first time today, it may be the 100th time today. But take a moment to commune. Either just with that rhythmic connection to your breath, or by holding an internal loving dialogue. If life is stressful, be it through whatever source, work, home life, extended family, let your child know, my love, you are welcome. Stress is a little high, but it is not due to you. We are so looking forward to having you be a part of our family. And let your divine baby know just how welcome baby is. And that if you do have fears or anxieties, you reassure baby that you will find the help and support that you need in order to move through fear or the anxiety by speaking to a sister, a mother, your sisterhood of women, your soul sisters, whomever it is, your partner. And if you are seeking help from your sisterhood and your sister family, be it through bloodline or through heart connection, choose wisely that they do come from an elevated state, not that they are sharing their drama stories, but that they are reassuring and maternal and supportive and giving you tangible tools with which to feel empowered and with which to feel carried and supported. Allow the corners of your eyes to gently smile. And you may notice an energetic shift in the body as you draw your smile inwards. It's important to connect with that energetic shift. And to remind ourselves how it feels when we make a choice to smile. And when you experience it firsthand, that is when it is most powerful, and that it will land and resonate with you. Come take your hands together at heart center and gently come to bow your chin down to your heart, honoring your body and inviting your magnificent mind to merge with the wisdom of your body and your soul. And of course, with the wisdom of your baby or babies. Stay here, extend the arms out to the sides and wrap the arms around. Right arm on top of left. Take those hands behind, take hold of your shoulder blades, release the head into the arms and take in that loving embrace. I naturally rock back and forth if you find you do too. Some people naturally rock from side to side and some don't feel called to move at all. Honor what naturally presents itself to you. Finding your cleansing inhale and smooth, steady cleansing exhale. Taking in that loving embrace as you exhale, gently release. So it's again good to remind ourselves that giving ourselves that loving hug and embrace is always there for us. Sometimes our partners, even though they may be physically available, sometimes they're not available mentally, emotionally, as they too are shifting their paradigm into parenthood, shifting their whole reality and readjusting to a new life. So reminding ourselves that we have this loving embrace always here for ourselves, even when our partners are not available to give it or they're not naturally huggers. There's no judgment, just knowing that we have it right here for ourselves, especially with quarantine. All right, let's come on to our hands and knees. We're going to do cat-cow, and that's going to feel really good in that pregnant body. So gently placing your props aside. Coming on to your hands and knees. Spread your fingertips and thumb pads wide. Allow your middle finger to align with the center of the wrist as you press into your fingertips and thumb pads. Curl your toes under. Lift the buttocks, descend the belly, and just pause here. Let babes naturally hang forwards to the front of the body and just sway the hips from side to side. Just go with what naturally feels good. You can imagine wagging the tail. Or if you're a dancer, just swaying those hips as if to music. And just allowing for that natural movement to come in. And then we ease back to center. We'll flatten the tops of the feet. We'll tuck the tailbone, round the back and draw the chin into your chest. Rounding the back as you find that wonderful broadness in the back body. And as you inhale, curling the toes under, lift the buttocks, lengthen through the heart, and extending forwards. Exhale and rounding, chin into chest. And keep moving back and forth, movement in sync with the breath. Take your time. Pregnancy is all about slowing down, listening to the body, listening to the movements. As we progress in our pregnancy, we naturally slow down. But if we can begin to do it even before, just so that we can be a little more present to this extraordinary moment of pregnancy. As we come back to center, we're going to transfer the weight to the right knee. We're going to stretch the left leg out behind you. You're going to curl your toes under. If I go the other way, you can see my foot. You're going to curl the toes under and draw the heel back beyond the toes. So you get that wonderful calf stretch. Drop the outer hip. Bring your awareness to the inner upper calf as you draw your shoulders away from the ears. Now you're going to bring your awareness and lift that left leg from the left inner groin. Gently coming to raise the leg up as you press out through the sole of your foot. Allow your shoulders to descend away from your ears. You can stay as you are, or you can slowly bring the right arm alongside the ear with the thumb pointing upwards to the ceiling. Now, there'll be some weeks where you don't have the energy for that. There'll be some weeks that even just keeping the foot down and just raising the arm, or keeping that right hand down and just raising the left leg. Know that you can adjust and just do half the expression of the pose. Release the right hand down if it isn't already, and cross the left foot over to the right side. Plant the toes down, lengthen out through the heel, and then you're going to look over your right shoulder towards that left heel. And you're going to get a wonderful stretch through that left side body. Let your hip lengthen to your heel. Let the shoulders move away from the ears. And then we ease gently back to center. Now you can choose. You can stay on your hands and knees and do some hip circles. If your knees and wrists need a pause, release the buttocks towards the heels. You can have your knees nice and wide to accommodate babes. And you can stack the fists and rest the forehead onto the fists. It makes a nice cushion. So you're deciding. Do you want to stay on the hands and knees and do hip circles? Or are you going to pause here and rest for a moment? Inhale. Let's ease back to center. We're going to transition and balance ourselves out to the other side. So shift the weight onto that left knee. Stretch the right leg out behind you. Curl the toes under. Drop the outer hip. And enjoy that wonderful stretch of that right leg. Get a nice stretch on the calf, maybe even the sole of the foot. When you're ready, power up through that right leg and gently come raise the right leg up. Pressing out through the sole of the foot, let the shoulders descend away from the ears. You can stay as you are, or you can gently raise that left arm now alongside the ear with the thumb pointing upwards to the ceiling. Notice the quality of your breath. Full breaths in and out. You can stay here or you can release the hand back down. One more breath. And then release the left hand down. Cross the right foot over to the left side. Curl the toes under. Lengthen out through the heel and allow your hip to extend towards your heel. Softly coming to look over that left shoulder towards the right heel. Feel the right hip lengthening to the heel and breathe into that wonderful stretch through the side body. If you're further along in your pregnancy, it's going to relieve those bruised ribs from those heels that can kick. And exhale, releasing back to center. Good. We're going to come to a resting pose. If you have your 2 blocks, you're going to, let me turn around again. You're going to place one upright and one flat. And you're going to take your bolster and you're going to place the bolster over the top. If you do not have a block, or if you just have one block, then use that one block in that second position and place your bolster over it. Now, a bolster can be 2 pillows wrapped around a blanket wrapped around 2 pillows to make them nice and firm, and that will give a nice firm substitute. Or a nice thick rolled up blanket. They can sometimes be a bit small. So your knees come either side of the bolster. You may need that second block or a blanket if sitting on the tops of the feet is not available or uncomfortable to you. If it's uncomfortable and the tops of the feet cannot lie flat, then you're going to roll up this blanket nice and tight. 1 or 2 rolls generally is enough. And then you're going to place the blanket behind you so that you rest the top of the foot onto the blanket, and that will support the arch or the top of the ankle. Taking the hands either side, elongate through the spine and lengthen forwards. Now, you can either slide the hands in under the bolster, and that can be a really comforting cuddle, or you can leave the arms alongside the bolster. Find that exhalation, find that relaxation. Close the eyes. If there is any part of the body that is talking to you, elevate. Either elevate the bolster, elevate the buttocks, find a way to support the body so that when you lie forwards, you can fully surrender and fully relax. This is the purpose of this restorative. Come to close the eyes. And with every breath, allow yourself to relax deeper into the props. Gently deepening the breath and slowly easing yourself back into the room. Draw the arms alongside the body and press the hands into the earth to ease you slowly back up. Did you notice with every exhalation that you were able to relax a little more into the bolster? Taking a restorative posture can be an evolution. It can take a little bit of time for us to unplug that connection to the brain and begin to relax and surrender more fully into the props. So taking your time to cultivate this practice is highly beneficial. If you've done yoga before and you're familiar with Shavasana, the final resting pose, then there will be some mind-body recognition of, oh, we know where we're going, and the body will downgrade and will integrate that shift to that parasympathetic nervous system with a little more ease due to the familiarity. So know that it will vary. All right. Come on up to standing. I'm encouraging you to take restoratives. It's just as important as taking and stretching the body, taking asana postures and stretching and strengthening the body. Because we also want to be able to have that deep connection in how to downgrade into a deeply calm state when needed. Allow your middle toe to align with the center of your heel. Toes are pointing straight ahead. If this realignment of the feet makes your knees feel knock-kneed, allow for a slight micro bend in the knees. Allow the buttock bones to energetically descend downwards to the earth. And allow the heart and the crown to gently rise. So this connection to the earth, this connection to shifting into the back body is important, especially when pregnant, because everything's growing at the front of the body and all our awareness is at the front of the body until we're getting lower back pain and discomfort in the sciatic nerve, in the lower back, and then we're very aware of the back body, but not for a positive or a neutral reason. And by shifting the weight back, we automatically shift more into the back body. As the buttock bones energetically descend downwards to the heels, we're repositioning the position of the pelvis. Because when we're pregnant, the weight of babies will tend to bring the pelvis forwards, which contributes to the lower back pain. So that drawing down of the buttock bones, there's a slight knitting together of the ribs to bring front and back body more into alignment and containment. Come to close your eyes, find your center. If closing the eyes doesn't feel safe, keep the eyes softly open on a non-moving object out in front. Breathe here. Full cleansing breath in and full steady cleansing breath out. As you inhale, raise the arms up overhead. Find that movement and the breath as you rise. And as you exhale, sweep the arms back down. Inhale, raise the arms up. Exhale, sweeping the arms steadily back down. Hands come to heart center. We're going to shift the weight into the right foot, and we're going to step the left foot back. I'm going to step forwards. I run out of space behind me. But your right knee is stacked above your right heel, and your left foot is rooted to the earth. Now you can see that my back foot is more north rather than turning out to the side, because we can't square the hips if the foot is turned out to that left side. So I encourage you to turn the foot to face more north and slightly out to the left, but not in a gross action, because you want to be able to square the hips and roll that left inner thigh in, left inner groin. And this keeps the hips level. This keeps the sacrum stable. And with a stable sacrum, you can elevate and rise up through the spine. Your knee is also protected by having the foot pointing more north. It doesn't get torqued as you try to square the hips and the toes are pointing in the opposite direction. So all of this brings more stability and alignment into the joints and the ligaments and the skeletal structure. Feel the grounding of that back left heel rooting into the earth. There's a slight lift through the pubis bone. It's like drawing down through the back of the tailbone, and you're going to feel that wonderful stretch through the top of the thigh. Now you can stay as you are. If you find your energy levels are low, don't raise the arms, just keep them here. If it's in your practice today, you can raise the arms up overhead. If you're in third trimester, however, I highly recommend you keeping the hands at heart center, even though your intellect says, but I can do it. That extending up of the arms can be taxing and strenuous to the pelvic floor. One more cleansing breath in. One more steady cleansing breath out. So it's more about the foundation rather than the positioning of the arms. Feel that grounding in your foundation. Feel that back heel rooting into the earth as the heart and the crown rise. Good. Come step the back foot to the head of the mat, coming back to your Tadasana, back to your mountain. Draw the senses inwards or keep the eyes softly gazing out on a non-moving object out in front. Good. Gathering that energy back inside. Shift the weight to the left foot. Feel free to step that right foot back, rooting into the back right heel, rolling the right inner upper groin in so that the hips, again, are square to the front of the room. The back knee is aligned. There's no strain in the back knee. Because if the toes are turned more out to the right side, that poor knee is going to be stuck as the foot turns one way and we square the hips to another. We don't want to create that stress and strain on the knee. So by aligning that back foot straight ahead, hips straight ahead, you're protecting the knee, rooting into the back heel and aligning the pelvis, raising and ascending the spine. Again, slightly lift the pubis bone, descend the tailbone. Bring that pelvis back into neutral. Eyes open or closed. Take a pause in Warrior One, Virabhadrasana 1. You can stay as you are, or you can come raise the arms up overhead. Good. Keep your consciousness in your back left foot. back right foot, pardon me. Keep rooting into the back right foot and feel that grounding in the back foot. Feel that connection to the back foot. One more breath in. And as we exhale, we sweep the arms back down. And we come step the back foot to the head of the mat as we come back to our center. Drawing the senses inwards, finding that center as the buttock bones energetically descend downwards to the earth. Find your connection to your breath. As you open the eyes, we're going to come step the feet 3 to 4 feet apart. We're going to turn the right toes in, and we're going to turn the left toes out. Now, if you're dealing with sciatica, that discomfort either all the way up into the buttocks or transferring down to the back of the leg or the calf, turn the back foot in a little more, and that will alleviate some of the pressure of that sciatic nerve. Warrior 2, bend your front knee. Allow the knee to stack above the heel. So you're lengthening through the inner thigh and you're drawing back through the outer thigh. Hips are square and level. And again, if it's in your practice, you can raise the arms parallel. If you find today that that's exhausting and it taxes you, take your hands to heart center. Honor when you are tired. Drop into the breath. Allow your breath to be a little more fluid, a little more expansive, and contain your energy. You may find after a couple of breaths, you're like, all right, I can raise the arms again for a couple of breaths. So you may be doing half of the pose with hands at heart center, half of the pose with the arms extended. Turn the head to look over the left fingertips. Soften the gaze. Now, even though we're looking over the left fingertips, we're still rooted and grounded in the back heel, the back foot. One more cleansing breath in. One more steady cleansing breath out. And then as you release the arms, you're going to take your hands to heart center. You're going to crease in this left hip crease. Imagine bringing your left buttock and lengthen it towards your back right heel. So you come forwards at an angle, but it's also coming from that nice clean crease of the hip socket. Now take that left wrist and gently press the outer wrist into the thigh. Allow the hand or wrist to press into the thigh and let the shoulder blades draw down the back body. Feel how that point of contact assists in descending the shoulders away from the ears. And as you root into the back foot, notice how it allows you to elongate and lengthen through the spine. Ladies, less is more. Come up higher if you don't have a sense of lightness and ease in the posture. If your breath becomes labored, there's too much effort. And by pulling back and doing a little less will allow you to create more space within the pose. It will allow you to open and expand more. You can stay right here, or you can take that right hand to the shoulder and you'll align the arm with the ear. Allow your hip to descend into your heel and breathe into the sides of the body. Full cleansing breaths in and out. One more breath in. One more breath out. And exhale, slowly releasing the arm. And again, third trimester ladies, you may be keeping the right hand on the hip and not extending it overhead. You will assess where there feels a sense of strain and where there is ease. And if the breath becomes blocked or tight, restricted in any way, that is your body letting you know we're overworking. Do less. Pull back somewhere. Mentally, physically, do less. And see how that shifts the breath. Can be very subtle, can be more evident. Now, we're rolling the inner groin to the outer groin. Allow the kneecap to align with the toes. And again, draw this left hip down as if to lengthen towards your back right heel. Hands rest at the heart. And we're going to do triangle Utthita Trikonasana from here. We're not going to extend the arms out because I want you to draw everything into the midline of the body. And notice just this holding and suspending, you do more, you work more. You don't need, but by doing less, you can maintain your connection to your feet and your legs. By doing less, you can maintain that sense of lengthening and elongating through the spine. And you're still working rather hard, but you're not straining. One more, cleansing breath in. All right, from your foundation, inhale, float steadily back to center. Lift the toes of your front foot as you turn them in. And you lift the toes of the back foot, turn them out. Let's bend through that front knee again. There we go. Let that front knee remain stacked above the heel. It may have the tendency to fall forwards. So your primary work in Warrior Two is to lengthen through the inner groin, draw back through the outer groin, and keep this knee securely stacked above the heel. Secondary, bring the hips to a level position. And then come float the arms along the side in line with the shoulders. And softly extend the gaze over the fingertips of your front hand. Allow the shoulders to descend, allow the heart to rise and broaden. And if it feels strenuous, hands to heart center, do less. Full cleansing breaths in and out. Allow the shoulders to descend away from the ears. One more breath in. One more breath out. Build that stamina. Connect with the breath so that it's the breath that is sustaining you, not your mental willpower, not your desire to achieve the pose, but it's the breath that is sustaining you and reconnecting with that grounding of the earth. Now, again, we descend into this right hip crease. Draw the right buttock down as if to lengthen to that back left heel. As you root into the back foot, elongate and lengthen through the spine. Allow left shoulder to stack above right, left ribs to stack above right ribs. And the torso is aligned and stacked over this right leg. Now you can take the right wrist, press it into the right inner thigh. Often people rest their forearm onto the thigh, but what tends to happen is people collapse and they lean into this arm to prop themselves up. So what I would rather you do is just apply that point of contact so that you are lengthening through the spine and you're not relying on that right arm to keep you up, but you're connecting with the foundation and lengthening through your spine, which is why we don't go so deep, because we want to create that alignment and sustain that strength of holding, breathing. If you wish, you take the hand to the shoulder, thumb to the shoulder, and you align the arm with the ear. That is optional. Not so encouraged if you're in your third trimester. Sweep that top arm gently down and easing back up. Take the bend out of the front knee, hands come to heart center. So you're rolling inner thigh to outer thigh. Again, crease into that left hip, right hip, sorry. And you're going to find that nice stretch through the inner thigh. Imagine letting your right buttock lengthen towards your back left heel, rooting into the back foot and lengthening through the spine, hands come to heart center. Hold the posture, but expand your relationship to your breath. Less is more. Come up a fraction higher. And notice how that slight lift can give you greater ease within the posture. And it will allow you to experience the pose in a fuller capacity, with more integrity, with more freedom, and yet you're still working. All right, inhale, ease steadily back to center. Lifting the toes of the front foot as you turn them in. And I'm going to have you take your hands into your imaginary back pockets. So on the buttocks, as if you've got pockets in your yoga pants. Draw the elbows in towards each other. Notice how it broadens you through the collarbone. But I'd like you also to knit your ribs together, as if to bring front ribs to back ribs. It won't squish, babes, but it will create a greater connection between the front and back body. Good. The hands are in those back pockets and they're also guiding the buttocks down. And just breathe here. We're not going to go anywhere else. We're just going to pause here and find our breath. Especially for those growing breasts, this is a really nice way to deepen the circulation in the chest area. Expand into the lungs and help you connect with the sides of the body and the back of the body. Because once you hit that end of second, third trimester, your lung capacity is lessened. So you want to really connect with the capacity to breathe into the sides of the ribs and the back of the ribs. One more breath in. And one more cleansing breath out. Good. Release. Hands to heart center. Heel, toe, your feet together. Now, the reason why I ask you to do that is that you want to bring balance to the right and left side of the body, to the right and left hemisphere of the brain. When we continually step in through with our dominant side, we're perpetuating the imbalance that naturally resides in our body. But with the practice of the yoga, we practice both sides. And especially postpartum, when you're holding babes in your arms, you will naturally go to your more receptive side to hold. And your stronger side you'll use to move with, most likely, or vice versa. But you'll start to default with your most comfortable side. Come down to seated. So now in our practice, we're cultivating mindfully merging and connecting to the right and the left side of the body so that we can become a little more ambidextrous. We can become a little more balanced so that when babes is in the world, we don't continually go to our favored side, and that you feel just as strong on the non-dominant side. All right, we're coming to kneeling. This is where your block will come in handy once again, and maybe 2 blocks, depends on your history of ankles and feet and knees. So the feet are a little wider apart. You can have your block be flat, and then the buttocks come in between your heels, if you would. If that's not available, you'll flip the block up so it's on its side. If that's still not comfortable, take that second block. You can place it upright, you can place it flat. If you don't have a second block, you use your blanket. A nice firmer blanket. If you have one block, you place it down, and then you can place that firmer blanket on top. There are enough ways to improvise. Good. But Virasana is said to be very good for varicose veins. So it's an important pose to practice. And if varicose veins runs in the family, we especially want to be mindful in taking on practices which support the health of the veins. All righty. Ladies, if you have a belt, you will take the belt into your right hand. If you don't have a belt, that's fine. You can use the strap of a bathrobe. You can use a necktie if your partner has a necktie that they don't really use anymore. Or improvise with another belt of some sort. Raise that right arm alongside the ear to whatever degree you can. Take the left hand, take hold of the tricep and roll the arm in towards the ear. Now bend at the elbow and take the left hand onto the elbow and gently guide it up. Now I want you to check in to your body, because what can happen when we're in this seated position is that we can roll the pelvis forward. So I want you to drop the buttock bones down. I want you to bring your front ribs to your back ribs. Look how I still have my natural curvature in my lumbar, but it doesn't overextend. And with pregnancy, remember, babes is going to bring your pelvis forwards. So we want to descend the buttock bones down, knit front ribs to back ribs, and that will shift you into your back body. So keep checking in to the positioning. It may subtly reposition to the more familiar positioning. So you want to connect every now and then and drop back down into the back body. And you'll notice it freeing up. It will feel good as you drop the buttock bones down. Now, honoring the true positioning of your elbow. It might be out here, it might be here, it may not be pointing straight up to the ceiling. I do not want to see the elbow drawing out to the side. This is not healthy for your shoulder guard. So you do want to make sure that this elbow is somewhere here on this trajectory. If you do not have a belt, stay here. Just keep the left hand on the right elbow. If you do have a belt, or if you're familiar with this posture and you know you can take your hand, you release the left arm, turn the hand to face the wall behind you, and then slide the hand up the center of the spine. Allow your right elbow to rise and the left elbow to descend. Breathe here. Again, a really lovely posture for postpartum to counteract that rounding in the shoulders that can happen when you're breastfeeding, bottle feeding, just adoringly falling in love with your baby. Now connect with the positioning of the pelvis again. Did the ribs kick forwards? Drop the buttock bones down, knit the ribs. Excellent. Release the arms and roll the shoulders. Over to the other side. If you have your belt, take it into your left hand. Allow the belt to fall behind you. And then come take your right hand onto the tricep. Roll the arm in towards the ear as you rise. Good. Come bend at the elbow and allow right hand to rest onto left elbow. Descend the buttock bones down. Knit the ribs together. And find your breath. Cleansing breaths in and steady cleansing breaths out. Honor the positioning of this left shoulder. It may be different to the right. It's not right or wrong, good or bad. It's just acknowledging the history of the body. Come release. Taking that right hand out to the side. Now slide the hand up the center of the spine, taking hold of your belt or your fingertips. Continue to allow left elbow to rise, right elbow to draw down. Drop the buttock bones, knit the ribs. Find your breath. Full breath in and out. Good. One more in breath. One more out breath. And release. Rolling your shoulders. Slowly come onto your hands and knees. And just gently stretch the legs out. Take your time. All right, we're going to come to our final resting pose, ladies. This is where you'll find your bolster again. This is where you'll find your blocks. You have two blocks, one upright and one flat. Come take the bolster and bring it at an angle over the top. You have just the one block. Remember, you can bring it up a little. The bolster won't be as high, but it's still acceptable. All right. Sit in front of your bolster. Take the soles of your feet together. You're going to need 4 blankets. This is for ladies in first and second trimester. This is not the third trimester. If you are in your second trimester, you will take the soles of your feet, whoopsie days, you'll take the soles of your feet together. You'll open up your blanket so it's a nice long length in half. Fold the blanket so it moves into a nice long strip. Take the center of the blanket over the soles of the feet. Slide your hands under the shins and fold the blanket in half. And that will give you a nice support in the legs. You're going to need 3 more blankets. One will be your headrest, placing the blanket under the back of the head. And the other 2 will be your arm rests. Take the soles of the feet together. You've got the legs supported. You want to have, if you've got a Mexican blanket, use that. You want it to be nice and firm. Root the buttock bones into the earth and lengthen the spine back and release back into the props. Arms are out to the sides. You have a blanket either side so that the arm is elevated so it doesn't pull on the collarbone and the pectoral muscles. Eye pillow over the eyes if you have it. Hand pillows in the hands if you have them. Close the eyes and release into the pose. If you have lower back discomfort, ever so slightly lift the buttocks and gently release them back down as you release into the earth. Good. You can stay as you are. If you're in your second trimester, close the eyes. First trimester, close the eyes and surrender here. Ladies in the third trimester, blanket is your pillow. You only need 1 blanket, or 2 actually. 2 is nice. This bolster can either go in between the legs. Make sure both the feet and the knees are resting on the bolster. This brings that top knee on the same line as the hips. You can rest your head onto your blanket or your pillow, and you can roll up that second blanket in between the arms, or you can slide it under babes a little so that babes feel supported. And you come to close the eyes and pause here. You can also straighten the bottom leg and place this bolster snug up to your pelvis so that the bolster's just right under babes. And then you can roll your pelvis slightly further forwards, but you're still protected and stable. You're not going to squish babes. And then you just sit a little behind your hip rather than directly on it. And that can be a nice alternative positioning-wise. Again, you can bring your arms onto that blanket and you come to close the eyes here. Wherever you are, ladies, come to close the eyes. Allow your bottom jaw to release from your top jaw. And with every exhalation of breath, allow your body to surrender deeper into the earth. With every exhalation, allow your physical body to surrender deeper into the earth. Close your eyes and let go in the support beneath you, around you. Gently beginning to move your fingers and your toes in ways that feel comfortable to you. Allowing your breath to become slightly fuller and deeper. If you are lying on your back, gently come ease on over to your right side and rest your forehead down onto the ground, just to ground you and bring you back into the room. And when you're complete, come to roll on up to a comfortable seated position. Sitting up onto your bolster or your blanket, whatever supports you and allows you to sit with ease and comfort. And then once again, let's take our hands to heart center. Softly bow the head down as we seal our practice with one round of Om. Steadily breathing in. Swallow in your throat. Namaste. The divine light within me honors and sees the divine light within you. Thank you for your practice. May you enjoy this recording many times daily or every other day or whenever you have the opportunity throughout the week. Thank you. Be well. Do less